Hello, welcome to Lightspring, Glen. This superbly beautiful June Monday afternoon. I'm Carol Omar Behan, the very fortunate and blissed out frequently resident human of this place, known to many of you, I would think, who come to this video, and new to some of you. Welcome back. To those who have seen previous ones, welcome. And I have buzzing around me a deer fly who may or may not prove to be a problem, so we'll see what we can do with him. Anyway, welcome to this pre-solstice video. I wanted to bring us out here. The last two I have been behind the camera, so to speak, and it seemed I was invited to be within this one. But the setting is just marvelous for a solstice message or energy, I would think. In particular, I wanted the daisies that are blooming in so many places, and I wanted them within range of your seeing them, and then the beautiful sunlit tree that is beyond them. And there is, I would think, you can see the reflections on the waters of this pond, which has been featured in a number of videos in these two series that I did one last summer, the poems of Mary Oliver. The pond was featured often. And actually, now that I'm mentioning those videos, there's one that of a poem about trees, and this beautiful one, whose name known to me is Angelica, this beautiful cottonwood, really represents in so many ways what Mary Oliver was talking about. So I'll put a link in the notes, but you can also look it up. And if you haven't seen any of the videos, or not very many, explore along through them if you're a poetry fan, a Mary Oliver fan, a lover of nature, because all of that is rolled together. So I won't include saying that poem to you today. I wanted to make a video a few days before solstice to alert you to some parts of it that are coming up, and to share actually a message that I found in a resource that I will tell you more about. What came to me as a sort of theme, you might say, and I do have a story about the feathers, so let me put the theme aside for a minute. Sometimes my train of thought, which can be off on other tracks really easily, and now today is out here with all these beautiful distractions, but I want to tell you about the feather. The video previous to this one, and it's been in a little bit of a series of spiritual self-care, included some suggestions about summoning our allies and helpers, angelic helpers, helpers for, I hope you saw that butterfly. Oh, it may be back. Swallowtail butterflies this time of year, so a really beautiful visitation. So I hope, I think it will be, I'll certainly see later, as you will be seeing as you're watching this. So as we make our way through the year 2020, and here we are to the seasonal halfway point of summer solstice, the rough and tumbleness of this journey has been intense and immense. Finding ways to stay grounded and connected with who and what we are, but most particularly to this beautiful earth, who is companion to us always, from the moment of our arrival upon the earth plane to our stepping through to the world that comes next, or if you like, the parallel worlds in which we actually live, but that is a story for another day. My helpers, are animal guides of a number of sorts. I mentioned a few of you, and Hawk has been a visitor here, not just in the physical, because this is the source of this beautiful feather. So a brief, well, I'm thinking that among you watching it, that feathers, when you find them, you realize almost always, no, probably always, the feather that you find was meant for you. This certainly was. A few days ago, and it's been such chilly mornings, we had close to a frost 2 mornings ago. It's actually why, even though we're in the upper 70s today, the air is really very low in humidity. And in the shade, which I'm back in now, my arms tend to get a little chilly. So here I am, a little bit incredibly comfortable to be within the shade and having a shawl to just make it all the more comfortable. So on one of these chilly mornings, actually the one before the frost morning, I spent time in the woods, a place I go to welcome the day, to ground myself. Back in some of the videos, you will find suggestions of grounding yourself. Heaven to earth, earth to sky, and these are becoming greater in number. So I think I need to put a little bit more of a guide. Oh, good, there's a frog. I really think that they have been a little bit predated by the, I know they are, by the kingfisher, and I'm glad to hear one. I don't know if you heard that. So, the feather. So I was coming back around the pond, which you see in that direction. It had been a wonderful meditation, a welcoming of the day. And just past Angelique there, I was coming back with my walking stick. Mind you, I had gone past her and over the top of the waterfall and into the woods. Came back in about a half an hour. Lying there on the path was this beautiful feather. The frog is confirming. And it just always just goes right to my heart, because it had not been there when I went over. It's only that a not very wide path. And we are summoning a bunch of helpers, and some of them are frogs. We're up to 3. This, as I know I've figured out, is left by one of the hawk pair who do like to perch up in that tree. It appears to be a wing feather. Well, they molt time to time over the year, so I know they drop the feather. I speak with them. I'm always delighted to see them circling. I believe they are, what did my son call them? Sharp-shinned hawks. They're beautiful. I call them my little hawks. And they come every year, and I think it's the same pair that have been here year to year. So I was gifted with one of their feathers, and I delight in that. Summer solstice, this year in particular, is bringing with it, there's always an eclipse around when the sun moves into Cancer. It will be the new moon in Cancer on the day of the solstice, and there is a solar eclipse, because the moon will come between, in its new moon phase, come between the earth and the sun. Mercury is going into retrograde on Thursday, and while I can't tell you what, I keep seeing birds and things as I'm talking, so my distraction, all for good reasons, I guess. So that day in itself, and as we build up to it, the energies are quite extraordinary. To register an opportunity, it will be transformative on a scale that, and we have been through such times of scale, it invites largeness of energies and shifts, and the reading I'll do to conclude this video will certainly speak to that, and I think you'll find it rather amazing. So I'm asking you to, as you go through your week, I hope you take time every day. Now I'm sitting on a small chair to be on the right level of fitting myself into the scene, and I have my bare feet on the earth. Um, if you're in a place where you can, and I hope all of you find a place, if not every day, as frequently in the week as you can, to get yourself out and have your feet on the earth. It enables to a hugely greater extent your connection with Gaia and allows you to be in all the more lovely communion and connection with her. See what they have to say. They had a car song. The theme, oh, I know, I'll get back to that here, because I often get a theme the day or two, and sometimes the morning of when I do these videos. And so what it presented itself to me, I can fortunately read it without my glasses from where my notes are sitting over here. This summer solstice, as really all are, but this one in particular, is our opportunity to celebrate and be in celebration with the green world. The green world. We are in photosynthetic fire. I think of the trees and of the woods as cauldrons of green fire. There is so much energy that is in every single one of those leaves, every single blade of that grass. The flowers rising from the energy of photosynthetic fire to offer themselves to the bees, to be in this beautiful circle and weaving of energy. We are energetic beings. We are spirit inhabiting these earthly bodies that have their failings and have their moments, but are vehicles to bring us to joy and celebration, despite the woes and aches and pains of the world that we travel through on a daily basis. Things like the solstice and the other holy days of the earth year, times in ancient eras where people met in circle to celebrate these and to be in greater connection with this earth that gives us life and that receives us back again to herself. We are now in the age of technological connection. You'll hear a reference to it in the reading I will get to in I would hope, just a few more minutes, that weaves us together within its energies. There are thoughts sometimes I think that I will maybe hold forth about in my own reaction to events through which I am living with all of you. And the last video was one in which I, as really all of us who come to these videos, were in shock and grief and some level of rage in the passing of George Floyd, and what that has generated of the desire to say enough is enough. So all of that I have said of what I could, of my own feelings. As this year goes on and I try to get a grip on it from my own journey, doing these videos is something that I know I'm to offer. The power of my imagination and the technological, really kind of very homespun approach of doing these, but that I live in a place whose energies are of such wonder and beauty, and not everybody has these in their backyard. Having grown up in the country, I always had access to beauty of a earthly sort, but this is beyond anything I ever dreamed I would be within and a part of. So it is that I offer you these through these videos. Sensing that this is becoming a bit long without my glasses to see, I do think I will move to the reading. There is a message that I'm going to copy and put within this from a woman who I almost met one time when I was in Glastonbury, and I might have joined her group that was meeting on the tour that day of whatever summer that was. I think it was 2009. Celia Fenn, a wonderful earth healer, worker with the angels. And I follow her. And I went to the Chalice-Well Gardens with my beautiful friend, Mano Menez, and we did our own ceremony of earth magic and wisdom, while Celia, I'm hoping these birds are making their voices known here. So I didn't meet her in person, but we felt the energies connecting. This Friday and solstice and all that it will bring us as a world, offering moments of, I want to say, hidden transformation, because some of it occurs within us, and we seek it. I hope you will find your way to a place of quiet to seek your own connection with the earth, with the day itself, with the energies. We're continuing to transform ourselves so that we can, through our bodies, through our work, bring transformation and healing and joy, fountains of joy and love, because these are energies that not just facilitate transformation, but bring it to bear. I'm going to be quiet for a minute before I do the reading, so you can look around and listen. Depending on how high you can get this volume. If you hear from far back in the woods a bird call, rather sharp, the human words applied to it are teacher, 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 teacher. It's the oven bird. They're very special. A vulture is just flying over, symbols of transformation. There's a couple more circling, and I think I see the little hawk. I know I'm going to do one more video this week. I'm toying with an idea of doing one on solstice. Oh my goodness, they're flying right over us, right over the yard. We're being visited by some wonderful beings. I offer you this reading now, which is from a source that some of you may well know, a yearly calendar of women's wisdom and art and knowings, We Moon Calendar. Bear in mind that anything within it would have been written months and months ago, easily a year ago, so that it could be included in this. And the message that was written for Summer Solstice, wait till you hear it. So I offer it as the message to share with you. The woman who wrote it, her first name is Oak. Her last name is Chazar. Oak Chazar. Summer Solstice. Summit of full summer. Feel the sun within you, shining with abundance, as we blink in the light of that glowing promise. Resurrection from death. The triumph of light peaks, slides slowly to dissolve. This is the tipping point for everything. Democracy, misogyny, racism, climate, freedom. All are on the cliff edge. We've reached the neon bright entrance to the great turning. Change is the only thing that doesn't change. Are we ready? Are we ready? Trapped between a failed story and a future at risk, it's time to live in mythic terms. It's time to live in mythic terms, to change our language from techno data to poetry, gather together in circles, trade material bribes for the ecstasy of interconnection. Every conventional symbol system of our culture is bankrupt, and that's good, because now at last we have the potential to open, to sway, and to fall. Call in the sacred rescue workers, the cultural shamans, the change agents, and I want to add the grandchildren. And let's rewrite the rules now. What will save us? Not profit-driven technology and not imperial force. Only the imagination. What can you imagine? A question to carry through your week to solstice. I will be sharing another video at the end of the week. We'll see what it might be, but I'm looking forward to offering it in some way. It might even be a live feed. I'm going to check that out and see what might work. Regardless, I wish you a wonderful week. A week that brings about a growing awareness of your own inner light and of the fact of knowing the gifts that you have brought to this world in the life that you are living and our lives that are connected. Many blessings. Be well. Much love from all the beautiful and magical beings of Lightspring, Glen, and from me. Take good care. Bye for now.